I didn't want to get rid of seeds. That was very hard. Well, we're still growing a few. I ain't telling nobody to get started or nothing like that. Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia, and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. But today we're inside. I think it's like 40-some degrees outside, and absolutely not. But y'all, I don't know if y'all remember when I started my Snapdragon seeds, I said that I thought I had more Snapdragon seeds. And imagine that, I did. These are Snapdragon seeds that were in the refrigerator. So I need to start these today. Also, I want to try the Katarina cabbage again. So I need to start those today too. But I started planning out my spring garden. Also, sorry that y'all keep shaking. Have you sitting on some Christmas decorations, but maybe not the best place for you to be sitting. But so I want to try the Katarina cabbage again. I only put it in the quick tent greenhouse, and you know, our situation over there is we don't get a lot of sun. I got these from Haas, and they have a 45-day to maturity. That is a plus. But you want to know what else I did last night? I'm starting to plan for spring, and I was like, I should take people along with me in case you are new to gardening. And even if you're not new to gardening, I know I learned things from other people, and I'm not like super new to gardening either. I figured, let me start the Spring Me Please series for 2026. So this is the first episode of Spring Me Please. Today though, what I needed to do, I found all of these seeds on my nightstand. I didn't find them. I mean, like I knew they were there. I just kind of forgot. But last night I went through my seed container, and one of the things as a gardener, I know from me, is I didn't want to get rid of seeds. Even things I knew I was not going to grow. Whether I purchased it and decided after a while, like I don't want to grow this, or I grew it and I was like, yeah, I'm not growing this again. I was still keeping it in this container, and it was like everything was full. What I did last night is I went through each one of these containers and I pulled out things that I knew I was not gonna grow. Like for instance, morning glories. As I understand it, morning glories will take over and will continue to take over no matter how many times you pull it out. I don't want that to happen in my garden. So I'm absolutely not going to grow them. So I took those out, just anything I knew I wasn't gonna grow. With that being said, I am doing a seed giveaway over in the community section. If you have not seen that, I'm pretty sure you have to be on your phone to see the community section. If I'm wrong, y'all let me know. But you can go over there and enter. I'm just doing random picks of people. I'm going to use a random comment picker to give away seeds to at least 10 people. Some of them may be used, some of them may be new, but I am going to do a seed giveaway. Where were we? I will tell you, I am out of sun gold seeds, which we know I love sun golds, but I'm thinking to myself, don't buy any more. Grow what you have. I do love sun golds. Last year though, we did not eat nearly as many cherry tomatoes as we have in the past. I don't think that I'm going to buy any sun golds because I don't think I need to. Also, got a little technical this year, and I'm going to use my iPad, but I also have a notebook because if y'all remember, my notebook from last year got rained on. The way that I just leave things sitting, we can't do that. We're not taking the iPad outside. But what I have started doing with the iPad is planning out my goals. I told y'all last year that I am trying to plant purposefully, like things I need, things I want. One of the things that I started doing last night was literally planning out my summer 2026 garden goals. One of my goals is to save tomato-based sauces, salsa, and condiments for a year. Now, I have to learn how to make the condiments, but that is one of my goals this year. I want to learn how to make ketchup, and I want to learn how to make barbecue sauce. The way that I'm going to do that is I got to plant more paste tomatoes and more red tomatoes. And then I have to force myself to get past the thought that canning is scary. Pressure canning is what scares me the most. I'm not that scared of doing a water bath, but pressure canning does scare me. And I have done it before. This year, one of my goals is to pressure can more than I have before and to get over the fear of pressure canning. So that's my number one goal. My second goal is to grow enough green beans and black beans to preserve for a year. I want to be able to eat them fresh, but I also want to be able to preserve them. So that means I'm going to have more space taken up by beans. So that's where, when I was picking out the things that I plan to grow next year, I had to decide, like, is this something that you just want to grow, or is it a part of your goal? Now, am I going to grow novelty things? Absolutely. But some things are not going to make it to my 2026 garden because it does not fit my goal. And when I first started gardening, in case you do not know my story, I only started gardening to have something to do with my daughter during 2020 when we had to stay in the house. And so now I'm thinking more on the lines of preserving, preparedness, sustainability, things like that. That's where my goals are kind of changing. And I don't even know if I've really ever written out goals. I've had them in my head and said, this is what I want to do. But I am starting my planning for spring of 2026 with what are my goals. My third goal is pepper, garlic, and onion seasonings for at least 6 months. And when I say 6 months, the herbs, we're not at the herb part, but I say 6 months because I'm not great at growing garlic and onions. Peppers, I do think that I could do that. And I'm gonna tell you what I decided to do with the peppers that I have not done in previous years. So that is my goal for like the garlic and the onions. I want to be able to, more than likely at this point, because I have the freeze dryer, to freeze dry them and like just save a good amount of powder. With that being said, what I have to do is successfully grow onions and peppers. So that's the only real solution that I have for that goal, because if I can grow it, I absolutely can dehydrate it or freeze dry it. I'm not scared of those things. Number 4 goal is oregano, thyme, rosemary, and chives for a year. I think that I can do that, but I have to have enough plants to make that work. We already have one herb green stalk. I think I'm going to make another herb green stalk. So that's my solution to that, is plant more herbs. It's really that simple, that easy. Number 5 is jelly and jam for at least 6 months. With my grapevine, I'm not going to do anything to that grapevine. What I need to do is make sure I harvest like I'm supposed to, make sure I bring it in the house and get it preserved like I'm supposed to. Because if I'm honest with y'all, the grapes that we harvested that I didn't eat, we did not eat fresh, they're still in the freezer, which is still preserved, but I need to make the jelly or the jam out of them. That also plays into my canning. I can't make all this jelly and jam and just leave it in the refrigerator. I mean, I guess I could, but I don't have a lot of space. I have this one refrigerator. I have 2 freezers, but only one refrigerator. I have to get okay with canning. And then, peppers preserved for a year. I normally don't grow bell peppers, but if you aren't new to gardening, you know that bell peppers turn into the orange and the yellow and the different colored peppers and red peppers. This year, where I don't think since I started gardening, I have grown bell peppers because I don't like green peppers, right? And I can grow all the novelty peppers that I want to. And when I say novelty, I don't feel that they are the best to get a good amount to preserve. They're delicious tasting. They're beautiful peppers, right? For the first time in I don't know how many years, I'm going to plant bell peppers, and then I'm going to let them stay on the plant and ripen to red, yellow, and red, yellow, and orange, and whatever color. That's my plan. So we are changing up the peppers like completely this year. I am keeping some of my novelty peppers. However, and the reason why I even thought about this is because yesterday I did Christmas dinner. Today is the day right after Christmas, which is the day this video is going to come out. And I didn't get any peppers to go with the steak. And I was like, okay, we have no peppers. And I didn't think to pick them up because I'm not a huge green pepper eater. Anyway, those are my goals. Those are my goals for the year. Now we're going to quickly go through what I plan to plant this year. This is why I started to plan last night. I wanted to pick the varieties that I was going to grow. Everything I'm growing is in these 2 containers. Last year, I told y'all I put them in plastic bags for the week I should plant them. I am going to do that into Ziploc bags. I am also going to do that. My peppers, I will be starting the beginning of January, and my eggplants. And I think I'm going to do my asters that way too. Whatever I start, we'll absolutely start them together. But I just wanted to I just wanted to tell y'all that. Real quick, let's go through what we're planting. We're gonna do this quick, y'all. If there's anything extra I'm gonna tell y'all, I'll tell y'all too, but just don't wanna make this too long. And we've been talking for 12 minutes already. We got eggplants, and I'm doing the long purple. I am not a fan of the larger eggplants. These are the only eggplants I kept last night. And honestly, this is the first time I've ever gone through my seeds and said, listen, you're never gonna grow it again, or you're never gonna grow it, period. Take it out. That was very hard. I still have them. So I'm doing the seed giveaway. And also there is a place in the larger city near us where they have like a seed exchange, but you don't have to do it at a certain time. They have like a box and you put your seeds in that you don't want, and you can take out any seeds that you see. That is my plan. Anything that I don't give away in a seed giveaway, because I'm gonna do more of those. There's literally no reason for me to have seeds that I'm not gonna use, and I have this community of people who could absolutely use them. Also, I'm pretty sure I have some emails from people that had asked for seeds. Things were a little busy for a while. I have not forgotten about you. I still have you starred in my email, and I will send you the seeds. Anyway, these are the only eggplants that I like. I'm also the only one who really eats eggplants in the house. So I don't need a whole bunch of these, but I do want a few of them. Coming up next are the peppers, and I think everybody's gonna be quite surprised because I normally grow a lot of different peppers every year, right? But this year, I'm just not doing well. We're still growing a few, but we're not growing so many varieties. The first one that I think most people will be surprised about is I'm gonna grow the California Wonder. And as I understand it, California Wonders start out green, but they will ripen to another color. And that is what I'm looking for. A lot of these will be frozen and probably freeze dried at this point so that I can use them later on. And we all know I was gonna do shishito peppers. I'm always gonna do shishito peppers. And I'm probably gonna do a lot more plants of shishito peppers than I have in the past, just because I really like to eat those fresh. I personally have not found a way to preserve them. If you know a way, please, please, please let me know. These are Morosky peppers. I don't know that I've ever even planted them or if they ever made it to the garden. I feel like they did not. But they're purple and they're pretty, and I like purple. So that's why I'm doing those. That's one of those novelty things that I'm telling you that I will still plant out. Jimmy Nardellos. So I decided to still keep Jimmy Nardello in the Roundup because they give out pretty big, long peppers. And when you freeze them, they come out still tasting just as sweet. And I really like Jimmy Nardellos. Ancho Poblano. I told y'all last year that I really like the Ancho Poblano. Like, I feel like they had a little bit of sweetness to them with a little bit of tartness. And it is a green pepper, but it didn't taste just straight green. Anywho, of course, the cayenne peppers, we're always gonna grow those for the chickens. We had a lot that we preserved this year. I was very happy about that. The early jalapenos, definitely growing those because I like to make jalapeno poppers. I'm probably not going to can them. When I did can them, and maybe I did something wrong because I possibly could have, and maybe I will do my research on that. They came out mushy. I'm not eating no mushy peppers. It's just not gonna happen. And the last one is a candy cane chocolate cherry. I want to try these just because they're pretty. They have I've never grown them before. They have variegated leaves. I love variegated leaves, and they come out striped like a candy cane. So my two novelties here are the Morosky and the candy cane because I want to try those. But everything else is either gonna be used to make pepper powder. That's another reason why I need to grow peppers that grow bigger, because once you powder down a pepper, you don't get nearly as much as you think you would because the peppers are small. So things that did not make it, habanadas, love them, and they are very prolific, but I did not eat them fresh, like a lot of them fresh, and I just decided we're not gonna do those. What else didn't make it? Golden Marconis didn't make it. I found that the Golden Marconis did not produce a lot of peppers per plant. And so they did not make it. Next year, they may come back into the fold, but they did not make it. Also thinking that if I have a green stalk, once I finish completely planting, but I'll come back to y'all when I start to actually plant that kind of stuff too. When I come back to y'all, if I have a green stalk left that I can just put, you know, like the novelty thing. Well, I don't want to call them novelty, but the things that aren't going to produce like I want them to produce, then I may start those seeds for that green stalk. We are next up to tomatoes. Now, I will tell you, I have a decent amount of tomatoes. I will tell you that. And a lot of them are red, which is also, I'm sure, a surprise to most people. Because when I started this journey, I didn't want to grow any red tomatoes. I don't like the acidity in red tomatoes, right? But if my plan is salsa, if my plan is sauces, if that is my plan, I need those tomatoes. Granted, you can make sauce and salsa out of whatever tomato you want to. I want to make them out of red tomatoes. Here is the lineup of tomatoes. Now, anything that is a patio miniature, that's gonna go into a green stalk because I'm really not growing a lot of cherry tomatoes this year. I don't have a lot of space, and with that being said, I need to make sure that the space that I have, I use it wisely. You have a patio choice yellow, so that's where we'll get some snacking tomatoes from, and those will go into the green stalk. Orange hat, those will go into the green stalk too. I also can put these into a hydroponics grow system. I do plan to get those set up in the house soon. I know a lot of people did say that you would like to see me set those up. I will. So Brad's Atomic Grape, they're very beautiful. I love the way they taste. I'm not going to use the seeds that's in this packet. I saved some because those plants went all spring, all summer, all fall long. So I'm going to use the seeds that I saved, and hopefully they do the same thing this year. We have a Super Sweet 100. Now, I've never really had a lot of success with these, but my plan is to do those in the Bootstrap Farmer greenhouse, and then I can grow them in the lower and lean. With my cherry tomatoes, the vines normally get very long, and then at some point in the year, if you have been here for a while, you know I stopped taking care of them. You know I stopped, so it is what it is. Of course, we're absolutely gonna do Cherokee Purple. That is my favorite tomato, so we are gonna do Cherokee Purple. Oh, the pineapple, it does not taste like pineapple. However, they are a good tomato and they're very pretty. I like the way that they look too. So we're gonna do those. The Great White. I like white tomatoes. I think that they have a very subtle taste to them. And I make a lot of tomato and bacon sandwiches. It's like one of those things that I really like during the summer. And then we have a beef steak, and it's a pink beef steak. And I always say it wrong. So there you go. We're gonna do those too. And most of these are going into the Bootstrap Farmer greenhouse. A lot of the bags, pretty much probably all of the bags, are going to have red tomatoes in them. Some of them are indeterminate, which means they're just going to keep growing and keep producing. Some of them are determinate, which means they're going to make a bush, and then it would probably be better to plant another plant. But I have left bush tomatoes and they will continue to produce. But you'll probably get a better harvest if you plant another plant. And so that's where when I start planting, I'm going to have to think about in like July, when those things kind of start to die out, I need to have those plants ready to go back in. So the Homestead did so well for my second planting, so it's making it to my first planting this year. And the Homestead is a red tomato, and I don't remember if it said it was good for canning or sauces, but like I said, any tomato is fine. You just might have to cook it a little bit longer. We have Supremo. I have never actually grown these before. I think somebody sent me these. It's also excellent disease resistant, so it has good disease resistant. So I'm happy about that. A super sauce. I think someone sent me the super sauce. So I'm focusing on red and sauce tomatoes this year. The San Marzanos. I have 2 packs of those. Mortgage Lifter. So they're supposed to be pretty big. And that's what I'm going for too. Things that's gonna get big so that I can have more in the space that I have to preserve, to make more of what I want. Early Girl, I want to do those. I don't know if I did those last year or not, but it says they're early producing, and so that's one of the reasons why. Amish Paste, I've always had really good luck with these, and so I'm gonna grow those again. And then these seeds, I did not realize that this Wetzel company is actually out of Virginia. So we love that for me. These are a super socks. I don't know how you say it, but anyway, I've never heard of those, and it says urban, so I guess it's good for growing in small spaces as well. And then a colonial tomato. I was very excited because I was like, oh, they're in Virginia. I'm sure they're producing these seeds in Virginia, and so I'm probably going to have good experience with those seeds. Next thing are our, they're kind of like tomatoes too, but anyway, we're gonna do some tomatillos. Those are verde tomatillos. Never had great luck with them. Also wanna just try it because I do like, I think it's salsa verde. I love salsa verde. So if I could make it myself, that would be great. And then some ground cherries. These are both ground cherries. I'm just gonna plant them both because if you know, you know, I don't have good success with ground cherries either. The next thing we're going with are our melons, and surprisingly, I'm only doing 2 this year. These I'm pretty sure Javon from Imperfect Creations gave to me, and they're called Sugar Cube. My daughter loves cantaloupe, so I'm also going to plant more cantaloupe. Having the freeze dryer makes me feel like if we get a whole lot, I can preserve it in the freeze dryer. So we gonna see. And then we have a Minnesota midget from the company that is in Virginia. Very excited about that. Cucumbers, we're only doing 2 variety of cucumbers this year. We have a pickling one. Chances of me pickling those are slim, but I'm pretty sure you can eat them however you want to eat them. So we have a Nashland cucumber from the $1.25 tree, and then we have a Space Master 80. My plan with these is a green stalk. That's all we're doing there. Oh, also for fall, we're only doing 1 squash, and that is the Costa Romanesco. So that's what I want to try for spring. And I'm just gonna plant all of this one. I will start them in the quick tent greenhouse because this is what grew really well. Not this variety, but squash grew really well in the quick tent greenhouse, and I planted it out before we had our last frost, and it worked out last year. So that's what we're gonna do. And then we're on to our beans. Purple potted pole beans absolutely is gonna have a place in the garden. Now, what I will tell you is I left my beans on the trellis this year so that they could self-sow. I'm hopeful that I really won't need to use these if I'm honest, but if I do, at least I have them. Like I said, black beans are gonna go in, and I'm probably gonna have a whole block bed of black beans, which is interesting, right? But I need a lot if I'm trying to preserve for a year. And if that does not work, then we'll just have to think, you know, more about it. Oh, also, I could do a full green stalk of black beans if I wanted to. And then we have dragon tongue beans. I tried these for the first time last year. I thought they were very tender. I thought they had a really good taste, and I didn't taste a lot of stringiness in them. I'm very excited to get a nice size bed of these as well. It is possible that we're gonna have 2 block beds full of beans to start with. And then with beans, you can do succession sowing as well. So once these die out, I can just plant them all over again. And beans, as I understand it, gives nitrogen back to your soil, so it could help those block beds that we know I keep struggling with. And then the last thing, I am trying corn again, y'all, but I'm only doing this one variety. It is called Silver Queen. I'm pretty sure, maybe I didn't do these last year, but it says it's a very sweet, extremely tender hybrid corn. 14 to 16 rows of sweet, tender kernels. So that's what we're going with. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the next season, y'all. Like, I cannot tell y'all how excited I am to get started with growing again. Like, I'm very, very excited. Oh, I'm probably gonna start my tomatillos and my ground cherries today too, so I'm gonna put those over there. The only reason why I say that is because they could take a while to germinate. That's gonna be number 1. Plus, like with tomatillos, you have to have 2 plants in order for them to produce. So I want to make sure, and those seeds are kind of old. So I want to make sure that I have them, that I get them to spring. So I'm going to start them kind of early. We have more over here. I know this is flowers. We already started the herbs. I'll put that. I think this is all this is flowers. Yes. We have several different asters. I think asters are some of the prettiest flowers. I'm gonna plant different asters this year so I can get a lot of them. Between asters and dahlias, those are probably my favorite flowers. We're gonna do different varieties. This is called Crago mixed aster. We have a powder puff aster. Then we just have yellow, rose, violet. You know I had to do a purple one. Then you got a Matsumoto blue aster. I think those are gonna be pretty. And then a salmon janina. And then we have our sunflowers. I love a good sunflower too. All right, we have a fun sunny hybrid mix. Think those would be pretty. Do not know how tall they get, 4 to 6 feet. So they get pretty tall. Then we have a tall sunflower, and those get I don't think it says back here, but it says tall sunflower. And then I just think these are so pretty. It's a tiger eye mix of sunflower. I love those colors. This year, I really didn't bring a lot of flowers in the house, and I did the year before. So I just want to make sure that I have enough flowers where I can have, you know, bouquets in the house. Also gonna do a zinnia mix. Love those. We have another zinnia, Precious Metals. These are from Floret Flowers. And y'all, I think they so pretty. I can't wait to get these in a spot this year because I had them last year, but I kind of got them started later. So I'm very excited to start those. And then we have some Bee's Choices from Floret as well. Can't wait to try that. These are dahlias though. These are not zinnias. And then you have Unwinds mix or Unwinds mix. I think it's Unwinds mix. And yeah, we're gonna see how those go. Oh, we got another aster down here. I got these out of order apparently. This is just a single mix, that's what it says. So I guess it's a mix of different asters, and they aren't the fluffy ones. It's just a single flower is what it looks like. The Dwarf Sunspot Sunflower. This will go into a green stalk or like in the front of a bed. Same thing with the teddy bear. I tore that package terribly, but that's what they look like. They're like really fluffy. I think they're beautiful. And then we have some nasturtiums, and that's a jewel mix of nasturtiums. I want nasturtiums all over the garden this year. Like I just want to plop them in wherever they fit. I think nasturtiums are beautiful. I also eat them. And last but not least is our calendula. I use calendula for skincare and I absolutely love it. I have a lot from last year, but I don't think there's any problem with having more than I need right now, considering that's what I use for skincare. We have a Pacific Beauty Mix calendula. We have a Pink Sunrise calendula and a Playtime Mix calendula. Those are the 2026 seeds that I plan to start. I cannot wait to get them started, y'all. I am full blown ready for the gardening season of 2026. So tell me what y'all are planting. Have you started planning? Like, where are you with your gardening for 2026? I ain't telling nobody to get started or nothing like that. I'm just excited, so I figured I would share since I'm starting. I was like a little overwhelmed last night because there were seed packets everywhere. I mean, they were everywhere. And I was like, this is very overwhelming. But I kept pushing, and I feel like everything is way more organized than it has been in previous seasons. I feel like I'm ready to go. The one thing that I need to do before I have to start my seeds is I have to go outside because, like I said, my book got wet. So I don't remember the square footage of the spaces. I don't know exactly how many bags I have. If you think about it, I have the new greenhouse, so I don't know what I have in there. I could go back and watch the video because I said how big those beds were. But I need to go outside, and then I need to pretty much draw out my beds and start planting them. But when I do that, I'll absolutely take you along with me. If there's anything that you think I missed, let me know down in the comments. Like if you like, oh, you're not gonna do this year, you're not gonna do that this year, let me know. Or if there's something that you think, oh, I think you would like this, or it fits into your goal, this would be a good variety because it's very prolific, let me know. I don't want to buy a lot of seeds this year, but if there is something that I could buy that would help me make it to my goal, let me know, y'all, because I'm not against buying new things this year. I just want to make sure I'm buying things that's going to get me to my goal. So anywho, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram, where I post about the things going on in my garden almost every day. Bye, y'all.